Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Kara Delane and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Kara Delane.
Welcome, everyone, to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable and the last show of the year, Ted.
Kara, just a couple days left in 2022. I can't believe it.
I cannot believe it either. I feel like this entire year flew by and that we just started doing the After Dark shows, and it's been almost a year now.
It does seem like that, right? And here we are, Wednesday evening, December 28th. And like you said, our last After Dark. Congratulations to you on a tremendous year, Kara, both at Henson Brand Dealerships and here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable and at the After Dark show.
Of course, Ted, thank you. And I mean, I have to give you a round of applause because you have made Fixed Ops an amazing thing to want to be a part of and just spread the word and make it so joyful and inviting for everybody in automotive to take part via online. So it's been a great year, and I've loved to see the roundtable grow over the last year and two. And I have no doubt that 2023 is going to be one heck of a year.
And you and I have had a lot of help, okay, from all the great people involved with the roundtable. And tonight, I think it's important that we give a shout out to that company that's been the exclusive sponsor and will be again in 2023 of the After Dark show. It is BG Products, partners beyond products. We're very grateful to BG for all that they do for the automotive industry. And as you know, I heard from Peter just before the holidays and mapping out a very strong 2023. So, you know, we're very grateful to them for really believing in us and in the process and in letting us, you know, put this whole thing together. And like you said, now here we are. It feels like forever. We've been doing these After Dark shows also. I
know. A huge shout out to BG. I mean, you know, just a short time ago, I got to really connect with them at one conference, and then I had, you know, Bob Tasca's racing suit. I got to make cool content with BG Products and do cool TikToks even with some of their stuff. So it's been fun to work with them. And like you said, we're extremely grateful for them to sponsor everything that we do at the Roundtable.
So tonight, everybody, as you know, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube. And tonight we want to look back at this amazing year of 2022 and get Kara's perspective also on the event. The other night, we had Sean Butler on and Tony Owens, great friends of the Fixed Ops Roundtable community. And we talked a little bit about the marketing and what was behind a lot of these things, but we didn't really get a lot from of the perspective of a woman in retail, in automotive retail, which, Kara, you and I have talked about is, I think it's pretty important that we have men in retail and women in retail at these events. And I know I've heard that from the people who view and participate as well.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that we talk about women in automotive so much, but I told you once before, I believe, Ted, that it is rare to actually hear from people that work in dealerships, whether that be a salesperson. I can speak on our dealership's behalf. We've got salespeople that are women, finance managers that are women, sales managers that are women, service managers that are women. The only thing we're lacking is a woman technician right now, but all across the board, we have women in every aspect of our dealership. And I think that's extremely important. We just don't get to hear from many of those people very often, even on shows like this.
And a woman gives, you know, let's say if it's men technicians, a different perspective, right? On the business, on the industry, and on their roles. And, you know, there's a lot to be said. And by the way, somebody mentioned, I think I've heard it now more than once recently, that the automotive business is probably the best kept secret, you know, in terms of opportunity for all individuals in all walks of life, you know, education or not. You know, you can advance in this industry really as high as you want to go.
And I think that's right, Ted, and forever. And because I'm so young, getting into automotive and stumbling in like most of us have, I think it's, part of our mission here with the Roundtable and everything I do in advertising and marketing to portray the automotive industry to be all that it is, because I feel like for so long now it's been an unattractive industry to be in for women. And, instantly people think, oh, I don't want to sell cars. Well, that's not all there is to it. And I think that's what makes my day-to-day job so much fun and rewarding, is getting to, put the magnifying glass on so many aspects of the dealership and what the automotive industry has to offer to women out there and men, and especially young people like me.
So let's do that in 2023. Let's continue the focus and even make it even more magnified, right? On the focus on women in retail automotive, people in general on the retail side, and look at the opportunities that are out there for everybody. And you're right. It's working in dealership is a different type of beast, okay, if you will, compared to just working in the automotive industry. There's Kara, I don't have to tell you, look at the hours, look at the work ethic required, look at the here we are now coming up against the end of the month, right? A couple days left, end of the year. This is a big sales week, and just so many things involved with being in retail that a lot of people don't appreciate unless you've actually done it.
And I think, Ted, too, what often is missing in a lot of these conversations is, of course, I like the grind. I like the hustle. I like all the hours and being here nonstop, because that's just the kind of person I am. But, I've had many conversations in our dealership with some of our media staff, even back here, and some people that I work with at our dealership. You have the go-getters that want the long hours and they love that game of, staying here till dawn and whatever it may be. But that doesn't mean there's not a place for people that do want to have families. They want more time off. They want more of a balanced life. There's opportunities in every aspect of automotive that is suitable for every kind of person. And I think that we don't expose that enough in some of these conversations.
So we have a big event coming up in just a couple weeks in January, the Wild West event. And give us the dates on that again, Kara.
Yes, it's January 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. So it's our first ever 4-day virtual event. And so it's going to be really exciting. 4 full days of knowledge and wisdom, lots of fun, and all Wild West themes. So if you haven't got your complimentary tickets yet, grab them now at fixedopsroundtable.com.
And look at the banner here. You've got 3 of the 4 people on there who currently work in dealership. And I thought it was important, that we highlight the importance that Tully Williams and Ed Roberts and Cara Delane have played in this event in talking about the Wild West. And a lot of people like the events because we have retail people. And I think it's important, Cara. And, I wish we have even more women, involved and have them here on the front banner for the Wild West and for all the events we have coming up in 2023 and beyond.
Well, I happen to know quite a few women in automotive, Ted, so you don't have to tell me twice. If you want me to wrangle up some ladies, I'll do it for you.
So recently, I know we're going to mention some of the events we did earlier this year, but you went back home for Christmas, and a lot of people don't, people, when they think that you went back home, they don't really know where home is for Cara Delane, where you grew up. And you've been talking about, perhaps had that playing a part in the Wild West. So talk to us about that and the marketing and that, prepares for what's coming here.
Yeah, so I was joking around recently with some of my friends that it's funny because even my brother makes fun of me nowadays because he calls me this city girl. And I don't really live in the city. I live north of Houston in the Woodlands, but it is more of a city than I grew up in by far. And so I went home over Christmas, and when I found out what dates I was going to be able to go home, and you had told me that the next event was Wild West themed, I got super excited because I knew I would be able to do some content while I was at home with my family, because they live literally out in the middle of nowhere. So they live in West Texas, east of Lubbock, about 40 miles. And I grew up in the middle of a bunch of cotton farms. And that's probably the biggest misconception about me, I would say, Ted, is people never see that coming. When I joke around about being a country girl or a farm girl, I am not lying. I grew up in the dirt and I did a lot of manual labor and raised livestock, watched my dad, plant and harvest every single year. And he's still doing it as a fourth generation cotton farmer in my family. And my brother is working alongside him as the fifth generation. So it only seemed right for me to shoot some content while I was back home to expose where I came from and show everybody what the true Wild West looks like out in West Texas.
Before you do, for those of us not from Texas, maybe, like in the Northeast, who hear about Texas and we know it's a big state, give us some perspective. You said near Lubbock, and I know where Henson Brand is in Madisonville. Yeah. So is that someplace you could drive to pretty easily, or is it quite a distance?
So I don't drive very often because it takes me almost 8 hours if I drive from Houston, where I live in North Houston, to get all the way to where my family lives. And so they're out in the middle of nowhere, like I said, and Lubbock is the closest bigger city, if you'll consider it that, to where my parents have grown up, and I lived for 21 years of my life. And there is not much in between Lubbock and then you get over to Abilene, and then you've got Dallas, you get into Austin, things like that. But it's a long ways from big cities. So we do have an airport that's small that I usually fly into, but it's hard to catch flights in and out, especially when the weather's bad this time of year.
So the landscape and the scenery there, does that speak of the Wild West, or tell us about that?
It does. Yeah. I posted a picture a couple days ago when I was at home, and somebody said, West Texas, where you can see your dog run away for over 30 miles. And honestly, that is not a lie. It is the flattest place I've ever seen. All cotton fields where I come from, a lot of wheat, a lot of livestock, and you can see for miles. But I will tell you, Ted, two things about West Texas. You will never see a better sunset or sunrise because you can see so far and the sky is always beautiful. And out where my parents live, I've never caught a better view of the stars because it's so dark. I don't have the city pollution of lights. I can see the satellites crossing above us and such a beautiful, clear, starry night. So it's amazing.
Well, show us, some of the things you're talking about here. So take us.
Yeah. So I took some pictures here. This picture, I was telling Ted, everyone, that this windmill that I took a picture in front of is actually right across from my parents' home. And my parents grew up in around this area, and then they moved into my great grandfather's home that he actually built. And they've had some opportunities to build some homes and move, but they love it there, and that's home to us. And we have all the land surrounding us. And as you can see in this picture, Lubbock is actually straight behind my head, about 40 miles, as I was saying, but you can see so far in the distance, and it's a beautiful picture. Different times of year where you see the brown back there with the dirt, you'll get, that's a cotton field right now. It's all been harvested, so they haven't planted anything yet. So it's kind of bare out there, but you do have some CRP and some weed out there that gives us a little bit of green during this time of year.
Now, if you had stayed in West Texas, what type of career would you possibly be doing at this point if you had not, moved to the quote unquote big city?
So I was selling insurance for Texas Farm Bureau when I was still in Lubbock, when I was in college. And I had high hopes of being a lawyer, as you know, and I thought that I wanted to go to law school in Houston. So that's kind of what led me down here. But I wouldn't say it would be very far-fetched for me to still be in the insurance game. Honestly, I don't know. I had quite a few offers back home that I could have taken, a few within the ag industry. But I will tell you, I definitely wouldn't be a farmer. that never was really appealing to me. But luckily, my brother took that up so we can continue on the tradition in our family to be farmers.
This is a great picture of you.
Yeah, so this is about 10 miles east of my parents' home, on the cap of the canyon there. And my brother actually, he's really into outdoorsy things. So he likes to hunt and whatnot. And we go out there from time to time. And he actually hunts right down where that little trail is. There's actually a deer blind down there that you can see just about everything from, but I'm sitting on the top there. It's kind of deceiving in this photo, but if I scooted back about 3 feet, I would fall pretty far down below. So my parents were out there with me and they were like, don't get too close to the edge, but it's a beautiful landscape. They've hinted around about building a wedding venue or something like that out there. And I think it would be a perfect spot for it.
So Cara Delane in the Wild West, everybody. So
and there's me with the only livestock that my family still has on one of our farms. And my dad made a joke when I was out there looking like this. He said, these cattle probably have never seen a pretty girl in a bright blue dress before, so they're not going to know what to do. So I'm showing all the love, and that's me. I'm an animal lover and always have been. So you can see in this picture that I was making sure I got equal love to all of them and wasn't neglecting any of them.
And it looks like you got a lot of love back there, Cara.
Yeah, they were excited. I had some feed in my hand, so they were all about it for sure.
Hey, what a great! Oh, look at this! Wow, what is it, Cara? Yeah. Look at this. This is not the new vehicle that you just picked up last month, is it?
It is not. No. And when I told my dad that I wanted to take these photos while I was home, he had this image in his head of I should take a picture by this 1960 Ford grain truck that has been sitting on, it was one of my great-grandfather's farms, actually. They've been sitting there from Lord knows how long. And he said it's such a cool ornament out there that's really rare, and because you do so much work in automotive and this is what you're shooting it for, I think you should take a picture by this. And I hadn't seen it in a while, and it's right where the cows were, and he brought me over there and I took a picture by it, and I thought, well, there's nothing better to advertise automotive than a really old vehicle that was put to good use back in the day, and now it's, like I said, kind of just a pasture ornament. I guess they've left it out there just to bring back the memories, I guess.
I'm making a note of that. A pasture ornament. Okay. All right.
I guess. You know, they say longhorns are yard ornaments. Mm-hmm. I always wanted one of those, but I never had one.
Well, I love it. So that is the Wild West. Wow. So you really embody that. Tony Owens calls you the chameleon. Yep. But, maybe you don't have to be that much of a chameleon here.
No, and I think too, I think that's why I was attracted to working in Madisonville at Hinton Brand, because it's a small town, kind of like where I grew up, and I kind of get to embrace that Wild West feel and that country culture with farming and ranching. And, although I don't do it much anymore, I still have a deep appreciation and passion for the agriculture industry, and I always will, because that's how my family, got by every single year. And I watched and learned so much about how our food and fiber is made across the world. So it's always going to be special to me.
And you told me the other night that it's, being a farmer is really, that's a tough one, right? It's there's a lot of things that play there, a lot of factors that are probably beyond most people's control.
Yeah, my dad has always related farming to me and my family as gambling. It's like gambling, because no matter how hard he works, no matter the hours he puts in, how early he gets up, how late he stays out, the weather can ruin that really easily with windstorms, because West Texas gets those, with the dirt blows, and then hail, of course, when the cotton is first growing. And then on top of all of that, even if you had a perfect climate all year, we still rely on the world market to buy our cotton. So no matter how great my dad's cotton is this year, if the market is down, it's not going to look so great. So it's an interesting career choice, and it's always been the backbone of America, but it is not always easy. And that's why I respect those guys immensely, because the hard work that goes into that, a lot of people do not see when they go pick up a shirt off of a hanger in a store, or grab your, ground beef at the grocery store. Every time I do that, I'm thinking about where it came from.
So you grew up there, you were born there, went to school
Mhm.
there, and there had to have been a time in your life at a young age, or a fairly young age, when you realized that where you lived was, maybe more out in the country than other parts. When did you realize? I mean, obviously you're exposed to, media and stuff like that, but when did you, realize there was there was bigger communities out there that you could possibly be a part of?
I honestly, I've joked about this. My adult life is, I said it the other day to my parents when I was home. I said, I don't know what happened to me that I just woke up one day and thought I needed it all, because my entire family is very simple people. And, my brother never wanted to move away from home. And I was the
Really?
odd man out here. And I don't know, my parents were really great about exposing my brother to a lot of different vacations and travel and things like that. And so I fell in love with that type of stuff. And I think it was when I was in high school when I started doing all of the public speaking, and it was all ag based through my FFA program.
Right.
And then I took it on to college and kind of got exposed more in college to what was out there and what I could do. And I don't know. I said I always wanted to see a different part of the world and move away from home, because I thought it would be good for me to, jump out of the nest and do that. Even if I decide to come home one day, I always can. But I think it was the best decision that I ever made.
You had mentioned the Texas, I believe you said Texas Farm Bureau,
Mhm.
um, at one point recently. And again, for those of us to give some color to it who are not from Texas, what is the Texas Farm Bureau? What do they do? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's just an insurance agency. So it's like State Farm or Geico, something like that. It's insurance.
Okay.
But they have different policies in Texas where they can basically insure all of your farmland, all of the equipment, things like that. And so a lot of people in the state of Texas use Texas Farm Bureau for that purpose. And really, I got that job because I said a speech when I was in high school, actually, for Texas Farm Bureau at one of their area meetings. And I was talking about some farming stuff, and I had won a state contest. And I came back and said the speech for them. And then when I was looking for jobs in college, I sent my resume to them, had no experience in insurance, didn't know anybody in insurance. I was just sending my resume out there, and they called me because they said they came across my resume and remembered me speaking at one of their conferences. And that's how I landed that job. So I guess speaking has been a full circle for me. And my dad always told me that I've had the gift of gab my whole life. So I'm still talking.
And the speaking you did then, in fact, even when you first started in the automotive industry, is a lot different than the speaking you do today. I've noticed that, and there's been a transformation that happened somewhere along the line. Where did that happen? When did that happen? How did that happen? Take us through that.
Yeah. So I feel like when I first got into automotive, I had no idea what I was really getting into, and didn't know anything about cars, didn't know anything about automotive. And so I did what I thought was right at the time. And then I don't know, at some point, Ted, I saw a window of opportunity of what was really out there and what was missing in this industry. And then, of course, I got our producer that came on board here. I have two amazing teammates in our media department here. I met you finally, and so it gave me a lot of opportunities and a lot of exposure to do a lot of different things that could be more creative and more fun to expose the automotive industry and all that it is.
You were on a panel maybe 2 events ago with women in automotive. You were
Mhm.
on that panel, and somebody asked you the question that I'm paraphrasing it here. What's the future hold? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And you answered that. And again, I'll paraphrase that you're doing something, or you want to do something and will do something that no one else has ever done before.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know whether a lot of people realized that, but you meant every word of that.
I did. And I get asked that a lot, as involved as I am in automotive and the exposure that I've gotten over the last few years and as much time that I spend with our operating partner here. People ask me all the time, do you want your own dealership? Do you want to be a GM? I've had the opportunity to go into finance. I have sold cars in the past, and all those doors have been open for me. And people ask me all the time, what do you want to do? What are you doing? What's your goal? What's your end game? And my honest answer every time is I'm creating a career that's never existed. And I'm creating something that automotive has never seen. And I'm figuring it out as I go. And every little window that I see cracked that I think needs some attention, I'm going to do it. And you're right, Ted. When I said that during one of the Fixed Ops roundtables, I meant every word. What I'm doing doesn't exist, and I'll let you guys know when I find it.
Yep. All right. So I have an idea about that passion, and I know what that's about. And so tell us, next Fixed Ops Roundtable, we talked a little bit about you, your growing up, Wild West. We got a big event plan. This is going to be fixed. Cara Delane now in Fixed Ops now for going on 2.5 years, right? I mean,
what do I know about service? I still don't know if I know anything about service. It's been crazy learning through each of the roundtables and our After Dark show with all of the networking that we've done, Ted, and meeting all these wonderful people. I would have never dreamed I would have learned so much about Fixed Ops and automotive altogether. And I can't wait for this upcoming event. 4 full days. There's nothing like this. It's never happened before. So that just goes to show you, Ted, that there is a need in our industry, that we had to add an extra day to the roundtable to fit it all in.
Yeah. And you know what? When you say that you don't know or did not know, a lot of the people who speak at the roundtable, we had somebody who spoke last week on a panel, probably led the panel, did a magnificent job, reached out to me yesterday with a fairly simple question on scheduling and asked me if I could put him in touch with a few people, which I did. So people on the roundtable, leaders in the industry, such as yourself, are looking for ideas and input from others. So I think that makes us all stronger and makes the whole community stronger. And you're right, this will be 4 days. So give us the dates again. I know there's a special date coming up in January, that first one.
Yep. It starts on my birthday, January 23rd, which is a Monday, and 24th, 25th, and the 26th, all of this coming January. And you can grab your complimentary tickets at fixedopsroundtable.com so you don't miss out on all the Wild West fun with some of these amazing people that are on the screen. I'm so excited, Ted. Hopefully everybody's wearing their cowboy hats, getting ready.
Yep. Hopefully that's all happening there. And, there's you, there's Ed, and there's Tully. So looking forward to it. Lasso complimentary ticket, everybody. They are no charge. The tickets, fixedopsroundtable.com, and join us there as well. Cara, thank you for everything this year. And, wish you a very happy new year. And I can't wait to see what's in store for 2023.
I can't wait, Ted. I know 2023 is going to be amazing. And once again, congratulations to you. I mean, the After Dark show, the roundtables, the podcast, everything that you've done for the industry and connecting so many people and sharing your wealth of knowledge with everyone has been, we all see it and we're all grateful for it. And we couldn't be here without you, Ted. So congratulations.
Cara, I think there's somebody involved in just about all those things that you mentioned, though, too, who's on the screen, too. So I want to thank her as well.
I'm just lucky to be here. I'm blessed.
Thank you for bringing, a fresh perspective, and a new perspective, a female perspective from retail automotive to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. And thank you for your energy and your marketing and advertising. So, love all that. So keep it up. So.
I'm excited too, and I'm excited to see what 2023 brings to all of us here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable and our After Dark show. We're going to continue on with our 2 days a week, Ted, at 8 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays going into 2023. We wish everyone a happy new year. Stay safe out there, and we will see you on Monday at 8 p.m.